Wir sind jetzt auf dem Stand.
Welcome to the Florin booth and Wipotec in Cologne. I am here with Petra Gerhardt. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to exhibit our products at your booth and the joint efforts at this show. Please tell us a bit about Florin and why we are so closely represented here.
With pleasure. My name is Petra Gerhardt, and we've known Wipotec for several years. We've sold machines together and have repeatedly come across common topics and customers in the field of food safety. And so, at some point, we sat down together and looked into the possibility of intensifying our collaboration. This has resulted in a very close partnership over the past 1.5 years, to the extent that Wipotec has even acquired a stake in our company. And if you are a partner with us, then we are also happy to share the joint booth that we organize at Wipotec. Of course, we are very pleased to have this great showcase here, so that we can demonstrate the equipment that is relevant to us in the area of food safety. Let's start at the very back, with what you can only see from the rear now. That is the dual view X-ray system, which is of special importance to us because we come from the canned food industry. As food is often canned in glass jars, undetected glass splinters inside the product are a huge issue. That is why this system is of great interest to us and, of course, to our customers. We are very pleased to be able to present this system here. Next comes the check weigher, which sorts out packaging with incorrect weights in order to comply with the packaging regulations by ensuring that the tolerance weights are maintained. You will achieve this perfectly with this unit. And finally, there is the track and trace system, which is currently not as important for our customers as the other two machines, but will most likely be in 2027, when the serialized marking with 2D codes will be implemented. This was a major topic at the last meeting with Wipotec and the Society of Food Technologists, and therefore this system will also become very relevant for us in the future.
This whole conversation is in the context of 2D in retail, which means the transition from the classic 1D barcode, which is typically used in retail, to the 2D code. The idea behind this is to include batch data such as expiry date and lot number into the 2D code. And then a system like this is needed, which can print all of this and, of course, also verify it, because the code is then no longer static but dynamic. It becomes alive, so to speak, and will vary from item to item or from batch to batch. You also mentioned serialization. This would be the next step in which each individual product receives an individual marking and therefore becomes unique. This will be particularly useful in the event of recalls, which are a food safety issue. Please tell us what you particularly appreciate about the products and the constellation in which they are presented here, for instance, in terms of operation.
We highly appreciate that there is only one display to operate, although there are many different devices integrated. This means that you don't have to handle multiple interfaces, even if third-party components are part of the system. This is a huge benefit that results in cost savings for the customer who buys this kind of machine.
That also is a major advantage in terms of installation. Our machine manufacturing partners need solutions that are easy to integrate. You don't have to train different functions individually, and you don't need separate service technicians for every topic. Everything is fully integrated in one system. Also, for the end user who is operating the system in the production line, it is super easy to learn and to use. You mentioned an event where we discussed food safety in the context of 2D coding for retail. How was that received by the participants?
I had the impression that they hadn't heard about it before and were rather worried. The focus of the discussion was not on all these benefits that come with the 2D code, but more on the fact that they will have to make some changes now.
They were afraid of the complexity that this might involve.
At least this was the first impression. Then they also expressed an immediate wish for a dedicated seminar or workshop. So there was definitely a lot of interest.
That's really remarkable, because these are exactly the topics we also typically hear, especially from manufacturers who ask whether such a machine will slow down their production process. I can tell you with absolute certainty that at Wipotec and also on the whole market, developments are running at full speed to make sure that this will not happen. We are building systems with enough power and speed to keep up with the required performance. This is a very important topic, which we will definitely address together with producers and people who are attending events like this one.
I think we have to communicate it. We have to train it, take away this fear, and focus on the advantages. We tried to do that, but at first there was a lot of mistrust and a sense of worry. So I believe that we'll have to put quite some effort into this.
We also see this in the context of GS1. The whole topic of 2D in retail is an initiative that was launched by GS1, also called Sunrise 2027. It is about the transition from a 1D code towards a 2D code and getting everything ready so that retail can use these 2D codes. The interesting part is that even there we hear the same feedback, but as part of a wider range. It goes from people who can't wait to finally implement the code and make use of its features, to those who are afraid in what this will do to their production process. So this definitely is a highly relevant topic, about which we will keep on consulting intensively in the coming years.
Very exciting indeed. We are already looking forward to it.
Great, so do we.